It will also advance multiple objectives identified in Blair's comprehensive plan. The purpose of tonight's meeting is not to approve construction. It is not to approve final site plans. It is not to approve future phases. The purpose tonight is to determine whether this redevelopment plan is consistent with the city's long-term goals. The project conforms with and furthers the objectives of the city's own comprehensive plan. So Michael kind of touched on this a little bit, but I'll go over it again. So what's different about this amended redevelopment plan from the last time you saw it? This redevelopment project will now occur in 3 phases, allowing more control by the city to guide the development process. Phase 1 is here in the blue or purple. It consists of the 110 multifamily units, 522 plex apartments. It also conveys a lot to the city. That conveyance will be through a land swap where the city will undertake the paving and water main installation of Maple Drive. It is important to note that regardless of the proposed development, the city would have been required to install the driveway access anyways and the water mains to the pump station anyways. So it's not really a dollar for dollar trade. A lot of that is being done by the city no matter what. Phase 2 is the construction of 3 commercial lots here in the red. Phase 2, TIF, will be contingent upon the city and redeveloper establishing mutually agreeable parameters and or land control for that commercial area. I think Michael also touched on that. Phase 2 in the redevelopment plan discusses assessment districts. Assessment districts are the city bonds for public infrastructure and the property owner or developer pays back those bonds. The total debt is paid off by the property or developer, not the city. It does not cost the city any money, nor is it redirecting any existing taxes to the project. The city will also have to approve those districts in the future. That is not part of this redevelopment plan. It just lays groundwork for it. Phase 3, here in the green, is 88 additional multifamily units consisting of 4 22-plex buildings that the city will have to consider after the first phase has stabilized. We'll have to consider the market demand, community support, and look at the viability of additional housing at that point. So tonight is about the redevelopment plan. The plan is consistent with Blair's comprehensive plan. It creates future economic development opportunities, it extends public infrastructure, and it creates more workforce housing. That's a little delay. There we go. Tonight does not approve any building permits. It does not approve the final plans. It does not approve the final assessment districts. It does not approve construction. That's all part of further conversation. This just lays the foundation for those future decisions. The city's comprehensive plan calls for more housing diversity, more workforce housing, more mixed-use developments, more commercial growth along transportation corridors, more public-private partnerships, and more use of development incentives to achieve the city goals. Prairie Sky, this project, accomplishes those goals. Some of the, I went one too far. Okay. Some of the immediate improvements: the creation of 110 workforce housing units, city pump station, infrastructure improvements, Maple Drive paving, installation of more water main. The redevelopment plan contemplates the use of tax increment financing for this project, contemplates the use of it. So what is tax increment financing? Tax increment financing allows a portion of the new property taxes generated by the development to reimburse eligible costs. The city is not writing a check to the developer. The developer must invest $50 million to construct a project to create that new tax value. The property still pays 100% of their property taxes. The tax increment generated goes into a fund, and then those revenues go back to paying down a portion of the eligible costs for up to 15 years. If valuations go higher, which they typically do, that 15 years could be less. I've seen it to around 10 years. 15 years is the max. In the meantime, the taxing entities continue receiving the base value of base value of the property. The taxing entities do not stop receiving the base value taxes. The value is really created by the construction of the buildings. If no buildings are constructed, then no value is created and no TIF revenue happens. The TIF bond does not cost the city any money, and the value is only derived by the construction of the buildings. Basically, the bond is worthless until the buildings are built and that tax value is created. Many people think the city is giving the developer millions of dollars. That is not what is happening. The developer must build the project first. It must create the new valuation. Only then will it start to generate the new taxes. Then after that, they receive the reimbursement over time for those taxes. If the project does not get built or does not generate value, the TIF revenues do not materialize. There is no existing taxpayer money or city funds that go into TIF. The TIF revenue is only generated by the buildings getting built. Here's a little graphic that I think kind of explains it a little bit. Currently, the base property has $1,900 in annual property taxes. Over the 15 years max, could be less, 15 years is just the max, the increased property tax revenue goes to paying off the eligible expenses. After that max 15 years, we're estimating at a pretty conservative annual growth of 3%, that it'll start to generate $335,000 in taxes. That is only created by the buildings. No buildings means $1,900. After the lifespan of the TIF, we're estimating $335,000 at 3%, which in my opinion is a pretty conservative number. Most likely it's going to be higher. Once again, that number only comes if the buildings get built. So from the city's perspective, with TIF, you get long-term property tax growth. We're estimating in the 25 years after the TIF lifespan, this will generate $4.4 million just for the schools alone. And backing up a little bit again, that number is only generated if the buildings are built. If not, they get the portion of the $1,900. And then, so they should be getting around $177,000. We're estimating at that 3% annual growth. It could be more with this project once the TIF lifespan goes away. And I would like to take this moment to address that pamphlet. I don't know if anyone saw it flying around on the social medias. We sent a pamphlet to Don Johnson to kind of explain some of our findings. We put some Blair School logos on it. Our intent was not to be mischievous or anything like that. We were just correlating the topic with the pictures on it. So I apologize if that was misleading. That was not our intent. We were just trying to show kind of the facts from our research. We sent it over to the school. The intent was to have them be the only ones to see it. Somehow it got out. People misinterpreted it. We probably could have been clearer on our part. So I apologize for that, but that was not the intent. It was just to kind of provide more information from how we see it. This clicker is going to be... Okay. So also with TIP, what does that mean? It means approximately $50 million is invested into this community. New infrastructure is installed. Additional sales tax is created throughout the life of the project. Housing is constructed. Commercial sites are constructed. After the TIF period expires, the entire new valuation becomes taxable and goes back to all the taxing entities. Without TIF, the vacant land remains vacant. No tax growth for the schools. No housing is built. No commercial development occurs. No pump station. No infrastructure is extended. So in closing, the amended redevelopment plan advances multiple goals identified in Blair's comprehensive plan. It creates workforce housing. It creates commercial opportunities along a major transportation corridor. It dedicates land for public infrastructure. It leverages significant private investment while preserving future decision points for the city. Most importantly, approval of this redevelopment plan does not obligate the city to approve future phases. It does not obligate the city to approve the future development, the future commercial development, or the assessment districts. It simply keeps the project moving forward that has the potential to address housing needs, support economic development, and strengthen Blair's long-term tax growth. For those reasons, we respectfully request that the CDA recommends approval of the redevelopment plan. If you have any questions about my part, I can stick up here for a second.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Sorry, the attorney was up before. He said this third phase might come in 5 to 7 years. Is that your numbers or is that his numbers?
It's not a bad number, I would say. It's, and you probably know, it's kind of tough to foresee. Our intent would be to go from phase 1 to the commercial and then assess the situation and then move from there. If you think about it, the buildings probably take 2 years from now to build. Then you move on to the commercial. Might be a little bit of time to build that. That number is probably not too far off, as long as we don't go to like COVID again or something like that.
So your figure about the amount of money that the school would receive over 25 years, that's beginning after the potential 15 years. So really you're talking 40 years from now. Yep. They would receive in 2066, they would have that.
Correct. There's really no, if the project doesn't happen, there's no generation of anything now. If the project does happen, you could be looking at a 15-year max. It could be less as the valuations go higher, the bond gets paid down quicker. It's a pretty typical thing to do, but that's the only way to get there. And that's what we're estimating, 4.4 million, I believe what the number was.
But that's only true if that land lays fallow for the next 40 years.
It's true if the buildings get built and after the TIF lifespan, and then otherwise there really is no intent to develop it without this project.
Well, you're assuming that no one else in the future will be interested in developing that property.
The current landowner doesn't really have, I don't want to speak for him too much, but from my conversations with him, the current landowner doesn't have much intent besides this project.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Comments from the public? Oh, go ahead.
Hopefully this works better. So we're seeing Scott Reef, RIEF, 3481 West Shimmer Drive, Grand Island, Nebraska. And awesome. I didn't have to do the slide. I do actually want to go back a couple slides. It might be easier for you to do it. I just want to point out a couple things as well. We talk right here. Let's just talk about this a little bit. A lot of times people don't think about the revenue a construction project produces. If this is built, we're estimating 100 to almost 200,000 in just sales tax that the city will get. On top of that, the residents, we did a study with the help of Mike Rux on, hey, how much revenue annually will you receive from residents? It was 153,000 annually that you're going to be receiving from residents, making sure they're living in your community and not commuting from Omaha, working, collecting the paycheck, but spending it somewhere else. All right, we're going to go forward now. I get to do the fun part. I get to show you kind of what our project looks like. So this next slide here, and I'm just going to say next slide. How's that sound? What's great about our projects is we've built in multiple communities throughout the state. So we're built this exact product in Hastings, Nebraska, Columbus, Nebraska, and Grand Island, Nebraska. So this picture is of the project in Grand Island, Nebraska. We've talked about this, 5 buildings, 110 units, 24 plex, but this is what they look like. So let's go to the next slide. I kind of want to show this view because this is a view of in Grand Island. We used 4 buildings. In your site, we're going to do 5 buildings. So I thought, hey, this is very similar to what we're going to be doing in your community. One thing I want to point out is in the middle, we always try to hide the parking. And in the Blair proposal, we definitely have more green space in the center, which you're going to see in our maps. But one thing that you can see is very clean, it's very presentable. We even go to the point where we don't like to have trash containers everywhere. We always do a compactor. What's nice about a compactor, wind blows in Nebraska, right? So you're going to have trash blowing around. If you can do a compactor, you can have 10-foot walls and you can really concentrate your trash in one area. So that's just something I pointed out mainly because it's just right in the view here. Let's go to the next slide. This is the back side of our building. So this will be facing 12th Street, that street that we're going to be putting in. This is really what's going to be facing the highway as well. Very presentable. We don't use vinyl siding. We use hardy board. We want to make sure that we present, because this is our advertisement of getting tenants in a roundabout way. We want it to look nice. We want it to last. We want it to appreciate. This is an investment in your community, but we also want it to appreciate as well. Let's go on to the next slide. This is actually the back side, but really the entrance to our building that we're going to be building. Why I call it the entrance is we're trying to hide the parking. So we always put the parking kind of hidden. And this is where residents will walk in. You can see there are 6 garages. What I love about having 6 garages is it really starts catering to certain demographics. One demographic that we are catering to is a 55 plus. We want individuals to go to be able to move out of their single family home to a place where there's less maintenance. And what's great about this design, they can actually pull into their garage, go walk right into their unit. Another great thing about this is, let's say a young woman, a young professional, a young woman's moving to Blair. They don't know a lot of people and they want a safe place to live. And this provides that same opportunity. They might not want to live on the first floor. They want to live on the 3rd or 2nd floor. We would have common hallway access where they can access one of these garages as well, which is very nice. One big thing that we pride ourselves is security. All of our locks going into the buildings, they will have smart locks. To get into the units, we'll have smart locks as well. If you are on our property, you're going to be on a camera. We have cameras in all the hallways. We have cameras in all the parking lots. You're going to be on camera if you're in a public space. So if it's legally to camera that area, we're going to have cameras. It creates a sense of security, but it also helps us manage the site as well. Let's go to the next slide. Just another picture of perspective of what it'll look like, because I always think it's a real life perspective. We built this, you can see what it looks like. Let's go to the next slide. And this is a video. And in this video, I want you to really see what the inside of our units look like. So as you're looking at this, we always do quartz countertops in our units. We have stainless steel appliances. We have nice cabinetry. One thing you're going to notice is we do not have carpet in our units. Not only do I always think it's kind of weird to live on someone else's carpet, but we cater to pet owners. And what I mean by that, 50% of our tenants are going to have pets, more than likely. So we do vinyl planking everywhere. We have a nice trim package. Our door package is very nice. We are catering towards that professional, that workforce, and also young teachers, other people we want to recruit to Blair, or they may already be living here, working here. We want them to live here. That's going to be our ultimate goal.
Do these units have elevators or is it stairway access only?
Yeah, great question. They will just be stairway access only. But first floor is all ADA units. And the nice thing what we do, we never do a long hallway. So we break this up almost into 2 sections. So your neighbors, the most you have is 4 neighbors, which is nice. Some apartment complexes, you have a long hallway and you get one kid running down the hallways, knocking and doing all that on all these doors. Like, we try to limit the exposure to other neighbors as well.
Mr. Reeve, from the plat I'm looking at, it appears that lots 2, 3, 4, 5 are all adjacent or built into each other. I understand there could be space in between them, but is the intent that they are built as contiguous?
There will be separation
Okay.
between the buildings. Yeah. So legally, I think, or requirement wise, we need to at least have 20 feet between those buildings.
Okay, I just, like I said, from looking at the plat, it just shows the lots, not the actual building placement.
Yeah.
So I
For
could
fire code
ascertain
and
that.
everything, there has to be separation between those buildings.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go to the next slide. I just wanted to show you furnished units. We do furnish units. Like I said, we build these in other communities. This is huge for that traveling nurse. You have a traveling nurse working in your hospital. You have a contract with a doctor that might only be here for a year or 9 months. We find that when you bring professionals to a community, they want furnished units. So we typically do some furnished units as well. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I wanted to show you real life. Now these are renderings, so people have a better understanding of what is this going to look like. So there's a laser. This is the commercial area that we're talking about right here. This is the highway. This is 12th Street. This is Maple Street. You can see our apartments are off the highway, 300 feet actually. So they're back in the corner. One thing that I also want to point out is just how zoning kind of works. You can see we have Dollar General over here. This is a nice transition from going industrial to high density to commercial to highway. It just makes sense to have that. It would be very difficult to throw in single. You got industrial, you got single family, you got commercial, you got highway. That it wouldn't feel like a neighborhood in this area with it being so close to that industrial area. One thing I really love about this too is the city has done a great job with their city trails, the walkability of this site. When we do put 12th Street in and we have a walkable to that city trail, they can walk to work, they can walk to the Y, they can enter into your community. There's baseball fields down the road, all these different things, which is great. Let's go to the next slide. These are renderings. I wanted to show you real life, but this is what it'll look like when you look into the parking lot. You can see the buildings look very similar to what we did build in other communities as well. Very well landscaped, which we plan on doing. Let's go to the next slide. This is one thing I pointed out in Grand Island was that center area. We made the center area more green space. I talked about pets. We predict 50% of our tenants are going to have pets. This is going to be a dog park in this area. So we will have landscape, but we're going to have a dog park right in there for our tenants as well. Let's go to the next slide. So commercial, everyone's like, okay, what's going to happen in this commercial? We can never predict the future, but this is what we're thinking is right now the YMCA is right here. One thing that we heard is we need more parking on the weekends. So right now we're designing it to have kind of some overflow parking on the north side. We are in discussions with childcare providers. So that's one. We're also in discussions with the senior center. That's not where these are going to be located. We don't know exactly. We're just on initial discussions. Obviously, I threw a coffee shop and ice cream because who doesn't want ice cream and coffee? Some things to think about just because we have developed mixed use in other communities and we understand pedestrians and how we want to keep them safe. More than likely, we're going to have the buildings more towards Highway 75 because we want to protect those pedestrians. We want to make sure they feel very safe coming in off Wilbur onto 12th Street, entering into the commercial area. They can park, they can walk their kids to the daycare provider, but it's very protected but we also want the buildings to have exposure. And the best thing is to typically have those along the highway and have the pedestrians on the backside as well. Next slide. All right. In the end, we're very excited to be in Blair. We're excited to move forward with this, invest in Blair, but really be long-time business owners in Blair. And I am here. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
No questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments?
My name is Craig Aman, last name spelled Aman. I live at 610 South Fork Road here in Blair. I'm going to be real brief here because I know this is the pre-meeting to the city council meeting, but I just wanted to inform you that Scott and myself are partners in this development. I think you can see just by the short little introduction that Andrew and Scott did here, these guys know what they're doing when they're developing land. And if you've had the chance to look at their products that they've put on the market over the last number of years in 7+ communities, these guys know what they're doing. And so I'll have a little bit more to say maybe later, but just wanted to let you know that we are partnering in this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Good evening. My name's Ed Matthews, 739 North 16th Street in Blair. All of this is all well and good. The development is fabulous. That's not the issue here, really. Really, the issue is that we have a administrator that's leaving town. We have a community development director that's retiring in February. We don't have a building department to go to, but yet we're talking about doing a multi-year, multi-phase TIF project that we're going to set on top of this new whatever comes in to try to deal with the development. We're just a little bit ahead. I think these things are great. They should come in time, but this isn't the time right now. We already have this roundabout that has some things that still needs to be addressed, and just having a little bit more time to talk about what's happening, get it right, review the things. That's what I'm asking tonight, is if you guys would say no for now, give us the opportunity to look it over, get our new building department into place so they know what they're facing. We already have other issues that need to be addressed that are not here for tonight to be brought up, but yet we know they're there. So I thank you for your time. I want to be helpful. I'm available anytime you want. Please protect the people of Blair. Allow them to have a little more time to figure out what's happening. We've already had a lot of people come up the last meeting around and say, please stop, wait, give us a moment. We already have all of this. Why does it have to be 10 projects as he's going out the door? That doesn't work. So please keep that in your mind when you vote tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments from the public? Having none, how would council like to proceed? I'm sorry, how would the agency like to proceed?
I'd like to introduce resolution 2026-002.
Resolution or agency member Heisler introduced resolution number 2026-02, recommending approval to the city council via resolution number 2026-02 of a tax increment financing development plan entitled redevelopment plan for SJAV tenant redevelopment project.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-002 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2026-002. Please register your vote.
Council members present voting aye. Downer, Highfield, Ledger, Long, Paulson. Council members Clark, Wolf, and Willis voting nay.
Motion passes. Item number 4, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the agency. Please register your vote.
All council members present voting aye.
Meeting adjourned. We'll take a